All right. All right. Hey, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
There
It's
we go.
Michael Israel. You're watching Ask the Elect on Hold Fast Wednesday. We have a great show for you today. If you can, come in the comments and let us know how the audio and the video is. And with that said, we're going to press forward with the show. We're going to be
How the
keeping an eye on the
audio
comments to
and the
see
video.
how it's coming in. Uh, if you could, please mute. Somebody, I think, has that going. Okay, so we're getting tens coming in that it is going good. Okay, y'all, we have a good show for you today. Um, if you've been on YouTube today, you've seen that Pastor Muir uploaded a video today of interview that he did with brother Brandon, a brother who used to be a part of his assembly down there. And in that interview, some very interesting information came out, um, just concerning some of the things, some of the drama, and some of the things we've seen going on with Pastor Rufus's departure from Straitway. So what we're going to be doing today on Ask the Elect is we're going to look at uh, a couple or some timestamps on this video, and we're going to be asking the elect panel for their take on it, and we're also going to drill in on some of the uh, uh, topics and some of the things and some of the wisdom that the elect panel brings out to get a deeper understanding, get wisdom about just dealing with certain things that might come up in a community, in a family, um, in relationships and situations with people. I think we're going to get a lot of wisdom on how to deal with things and spot things and see things and everything like that. But with that said, I'm going to hand it over to the elect panel to greet y'all and to introduce themselves.
All right, greetings to each and every last one of you. Pastor Dowell here. We're doing well. Of course, you know the turn of the weather is here. And man, I tell you, I know one thing, and we're glad to get the vitamin D, the sun, and everything, but I know one thing, we're getting there to experience a lot of tiredness because you know just as well as I do, as early as that sun is coming up and as late as it's going down, there's an opportunity for us to get a lot of stuff done. We got our hands in many fires around here. And hey, I noticed something strange going on the internet. I noticed in my feed, apparently there's a lot of people that were celebrating Passover yesterday or something like that. I was like, what are they doing? So I went outside late last night. And of course, I didn't have to go outside because I saw a full moon illuminating. Man, you don't even need night vision goggles. You can just go out there. And I said, what in the world is going on? So I looked at these people and come to find out again, it's about perspectives of doctrine again. See, some people say that the Passover is supposed to be celebrated. Matter of fact, that's what the book says, the new moon. But they got the new moon from the full moon all mixed up. The full moon is the last cycle of the moon for that month. A new moon is exactly what it says. It is a new moon when it's just beginning to start again. And I tell you, but hey, nevertheless, people can do what they want to. And then I turn around and count it. So that means that a lot of people who celebrated Passover this late in the month right here, you should be celebrating Tabernacles in November. We'll see if they keep with that schedule too. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. But other than that, we're looking forward to the show here tonight. And if you want to go on my website, www.straitway.com, straightwaytruth.com, I got a newsletter. There's a big old blue moon on there. I talked about this well over 15 years ago in great detail. How you calculate the moons, the cycles of the moon. I go into great detail. I even use scripture to show you exactly what the Most High says. And I understand everybody, as long as we're in this diaspora and we're in exile, people are going to have different perspectives, doing things different ways. That's just the way it's going to be. But I know one thing, we look forward. Hey, and whatsoever is not a faith is sin. So I believe that the Most High Yah himself, he's going to set things right when he comes. But there are a lot of people who believe in that they're in the kingdom just because they give credence to it. That doesn't mean that in the kingdom. Looking forward to the night's broadcast because it's going to expose some of the things that, we've been trying to tell people and warn people over and over again. I think my greatest disappointment is this, and I've always said this ever since I've been in ministry. I think we need to touch on this too. Why is it so hard for people to speak up and to talk whenever they perceive or believe that something is not right or wrong? I mean, what are you fearing? I mean, if you're afraid to speak up, that means you're fearful of something or somebody. Man, we got to have healthy dialogue. Got to have that accountability with each other. Pastor Corey.
Yep, bless y'all, Israel. Like Pastor said, looking forward to a really good broadcast, and just, knowing where we've been and knowing that, like Pastor said before, you have righteous leadership. And so these are always opportunities to try to project to you what we know is right, the things that we know. You have to truly have it in your heart to know the word of Yah and be able to see the word of Yah in form and in action, because truly that is what has to guide us along this path. This is the path of life. And when I look at that, and I look at when we come to times like this where we call a shaking, or we look at where the pruning is going on, I always look and see who is cleaving to the word of Yah, who is cleaving to righteousness, who is looking at righteous examples. And I saw something tonight that I definitely, as we look at a lot of these falsehoods and look at some of these things that was done in the dark, we're going to look at something that Jesus had said. And to me, it just go back to the key, knowing Yah because of the resolve and the righteousness that that the word brings. You should be able to see it. When I saw Pastor Charles Dowell, and I sat up watching those videos all night, and I watched my shepherd today, I still get joy because I know what Yah saved me from in the world. I know what Yah has brought me from. And so I don't want to resemble nothing I was. So therefore, dying to self is so essential. When you think about dying to self ain't literally just, I'm just leaving my old life. You got to die to a lot of things that existed in you that's going to hinder you along this way. And this is one of the things that I believe that happened. And as we tonight unfold, you're going to see where dying to self didn't happen. And so therefore confusion and delusion is taking over. So stay tuned tonight. Be well. Listen close. Bless you, Israel.
Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom, shalom to all the righteous of Israel. Bless all y'all. Bless all y'all abundantly. Definitely looking forward to tonight's show as well. I'm going to be very brief. When you had the interview that I had today, and I'm pretty sure we're going to go over, what it goes to show is what's done in the dark is going to come to the light, man. Straight up. And I've been saying this from the beginning. This is not no one-off. This is not something that just happened and a mistake was made. This is something that, to get to the level of what we're going to hear tonight, which I would call tyranny, but to get to that level, this is something that has been taking place. And to allude to what Pastor Dowell was saying as well is about people speaking up. Now, we can understand too, on the level of, even with the interview we saw today, you see a brother who, as he stated today, is a babe just coming in. You see someone that is extremely close to Pastor Dowell and not wanting to stir the pot, but just saying, hey, I'm going to prove myself, because that's the nature of a man a lot of times. It's like, okay, I'm going to just continue to do right. But as the family, it is so important that you speak up. We've got to speak up, because this stuff cannot be named among us at any point. And I'm going to make a statement that I probably make a few times tonight, that Pastor Dowell said even during the meeting, where he said we have been grossly misrepresented. And this ministry has been grossly misrepresented. And not only that, but you see the lies that are coming from it. I mean, folk are coming up with some of the stuff that come across this feed. It don't matter how many times you put not interested, don't recommend. But some of the stuff that's coming across his feed, you'd be like, where in the world do these folks, where is this information coming from? Like, this stuff is outlandish. But again, it's extremely important for the saints of the Most High Yah to speak up, man. Speak up. And not only that, because guess what it also does to your leaders? It helps us. Because a wise man, think about it, a righteous man wants correction. One that can't be spoken to and one that you can't never tell you wrong. And there's a desire to change, a desire to turn and do what is right, or to at least evaluate yourself, or have people around you that can actually disagree with you and you not get offended and try any other vindictive things towards that person is extremely important. So again, I'm looking forward to tonight's show as well. And I believe it's going to bring a lot of clarity as well, and help a lot of people, because I don't believe that Brother Brandon is the first or the last that's going to come forth from some of the practices that were taking place. All right. So bless y'all.
All right. So the video that they're talking about was a video that Pastor Muir uploaded, in which he did about an hour and a half interview with Brother Brandon. Brother Brandon was a brother who we Straitway met up at Ron Dalton's event, the same event that, you know, I met Straitway at. What a lot of people probably don't know is that when he wasn't going up to Straitway, Georgia to fellowship, he would come down there to Straitway, Florida. And, you know, I didn't really have any issues, anything with him at all. He was an asset down there. But like I said, he dealt more with Georgia and then eventually Straitway Goshen up there. But what I did, I listened to this whole video, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a timestamp that's a good bit into the video, but this timestamp that we're going to play sums up the whole video basically and what it's about. So we're going to play that timestamp, and then we're going to start asking questions about this to the elect panel. So let me get this video up here. So, okay. And y'all let me know in the comments how it sounds, how the audio is. All right. And we are going to hit play on it. Just hold on. Let me make sure the audio is okay. Okay. So listen to this.
For some reason, he just clicked with his older son, maybe because he's a little older, but he clicked with him. Okay, one day, that just cut. Come on, man. You don't know what you've done to me. You don't know what you've done that's to my wife. You know what I mean? Of so much damage control, right? Because when it's all said and done, Pastor Rufus, you was offended that I met these brothers and I jailed with them, and you was offended that I did not want to be under your leadership. Now, I didn't want to be in Georgia, and I said I want to go there. So since you was offended, you bit me, and you spewed venom towards everybody else, man. You did not give me a fair report. You did not give a fair report to the leaders of higher or to everyone else because you was offended. And mind you, Pastor Rufus, you didn't say nothing to me, man. You never came and said, "Hey, bro, what's up with this right here, bro? Man, you got to talk."
Well, he be quick to tell you. He'll come say stuff to your face. And all
Yeah, exactly.
He be quick to say that type stuff, man.
So I just want to get that out there. I don't really got too much more to say, but I want to get that out there as a Pastor Rufus. You never came to me not one time on none of these things, or that you were spewing to all the other brothers, and for the other brothers to know, man, he never came to me and said nothing about this. He never came in and rebuked me. I never got not one rebuke from Pastor Rufus. And I've been, mind you, I was going down there week in, week out. I never got one thing about, hey, man, let me pull you to the side. Let me talk to you about this, bro. What you got going on right here? You never said not one thing. But you would go say it to Pastor Dowell. You go say it to the brothers in Indy, or you go say it to Georgia. While I'm just saying, why am I getting these cold shoulders? It's all came from it came from you, and you never said nothing to me. But like I said, I communicated and I said, hey man, dude, I gotta still grow, I gotta still move on, I gotta still lead this family. I told him I forgive him. You know, you put the video out, whatever. The healing is not necessarily for him, it's for me, as for me and my family, and how we move forward. And it is difficult moving forward when you have built these relationships with people, right? But then it is shattered. Yes, I have my part in it, but it was like, yo, from the beginning, bro, you kind of came at me. You know what I'm saying? That hindsight 2020. And that's just what I want to say as for testifying of an eyewitness. But man, this is how he dealt with me. And then you can't say nothing else. You would only have to come and say, bro, I told the truth about how you done that. You're surprised that Brother Daniel just came and told me you ain't gonna be on the land. Bro, it was from you.
Now you think about one statement, like you just said. I was surprised. What do you mean? Oh, he just told you that? Oh, you can't be. That's not how we operate. From one statement that was a flat out lie.
Straight lie.
That was a flat out lie from one.
So just the people who might not be aware of the whole situation, basically what happened is Brother Brandon, when he came in, he was for the most part fellowshipping with Straitway, Georgia. He would travel hours to go out there, fellowship with them, work with them, help them out on their land. Eventually, he met the saints at Straitway Goshen, and he said they had a natural bond, and he made it known that, hey, that's a community I would like to be a part of. And like I said, the pastor's going to elaborate on this more, probably fill you in on more details. What happened, Pastor Rufus didn't like that. So he basically went and told people, and like I said, again, the pastor's going to fill in the details on this. He went and told people, all right, hold on, y'all saying my mic low? Hold on, let me fix this real quick, once and for all. Okay, let me know if that's better. Okay, so what he went and did, he went and he told people that Brandon was a bad worker, that he's not a saint you'd want to just bring on land. And literally, while Brother Brandon had sold his house, and he was literally physically on his way up the Straitway Goshen. And again, the pastors are going to fill in the exact timeline, but he was told while he was on his way up there that he wouldn't be able to come on the land. He'd have to live off the land for a while because it had been put out there that, hey, he's a bad worker, this, that, and the other. And, you know, what I'll do, Pastor Muir, I'm going to hand it over to you from here because I don't want to mess the story up or anything.
Okay. Well, to fill in what you were just elaborating on is exactly that. And you can go back and watch the interview, so I'm going to make it very short. But from the time that Brother Brandon showed interest, okay, on coming up here, and from the time it got to the point where he was communicating with me every step of the way of what he was doing. So he was saying, hey, you know, I'm selling this and I'm selling this and I'm selling that. I'm fixing up my house. I'm getting ready to put it on the market. Boom, 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 boom. And if at the time we were literally, I mean, we're still young as a community, but I mean, this is when we were first starting out, right? And it got to the point where he was like, look, man, I'm getting ready to, I'm getting ready to get this U-Haul. I'm getting ready to drive up there. And I want to say it was as he was packing up the U-Haul the next day, he was contacting me and doing all that, saying, hey, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm getting on the road and I'm getting ready to head up. You know, he had sold his house, done everything. Now, if you can imagine in this day and age, people out here buy houses and they take mortgages out. they put their whole life savings, they put everything into these houses, right? So you have a grown man that has a family and then he sells his home. Now, I'm communicating everything that's going on. I called Pastor Rufus, and that's when he patched Pastor Dowell in that day. And on that phone conversation, I mean, he was adamant about why Brother Brandon would not be good for community. That the brother is selfish. That all he cares about is lifting weights and fishing. And he started going on over and over and over with these different, very adamant about Brother Brandon not joining on the community. Now, I will say this too. Pastor Dowell's on the phone, but again, here's what y'all got to understand. Pastor Dowell is trusting his leadership to do what is right. Pastor Dowell is trusting his leadership on reporting righteously. And at that time, Brother Brandon had been fellowshipping in Georgia. So, and he had been fellowshipping in Georgia for a while, not only fellowshipping, but working down there throughout the week, or he would come early, like on a 6th day or 5th day, and he would work with them brothers down there. So he's taking the report of Pastor Rufus, and you've heard it out of Pastor Rufus' mouth. I'm the closest one to Pastor Dowell. He said that for years. Oh, he's my best friend. He's this, he's that, right? So when he makes that statement, and he don't need to be on, he don't need to be on community. He don't need to be on community. Now, me, I'm listening to what my leader is saying as well. Now I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, first thing come to my mind is, I'm going to have to call this man and tell him this. And this man is on his way here. Now, when I get on the phone and I have that conversation with Brother Brandon, I told him the same thing on the phone. I'm like, look, man, you'll be on community here soon. Just do what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about all this. I can't even imagine what's going on through his head. But then he's stuck at that point. It's not like he can turn around and be like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going back home. Well, he has no home. He just sold it. There is no place for this man to go. And now he's looking at his wife and he's looking at his 3 children. So he's driving up here anyway. So for him, right after I got off that conversation with him, he calls Pastor Rufus. And see, this is the information we never knew. I never found this out until last week. And he called Pastor Rufus, and Pastor Rufus responds when he tells Pastor Rufus, look, I just sold my home. I'm going up there to Indy. You knew I was going up there to Indy to be on this community with these brothers. But Brother Daniel just called me and told me that you can't be on community. You're going to have to get somewhere near the community and work and show that you can, that you'll be part of community. And then the response that Pastor Rufus gave him, in the sense of saying, oh, he just told you that? Oh, man, that's not how we do it in this ministry. That's not what we do in this ministry. Well, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So now this brother comes here, and in the back of his mind, all he can think is, Pastor Dowell, Brother Daniel, man, they set me up. They set me up. So when I think about it, I think back at it and I'm like, man, it's a wonder that the brother lasted as long as he did here. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because consider everything I just told you in the backdrop. Then to come and to have it on your mind. Now you're in the house of the one who is famed in Israel and tells you that's not how we do it. And now you're in the house of the one that was lied upon, saying, oh man, he just told you that? You're in the house with him. I remember the day the man got here, we welcomed him in. He came in the U-Haul, and I remember him sitting in the basement because I was in my office. And it was late that night, and I was coming out of my office, And I remember him just sitting on the couch, just rubbing his head, and I'm like, bro, what's going on with you? And he's like, man, I just don't understand. What did I do? What did I do wrong? I'm like, what is this dude talking about? Now, obviously, I'm thinking in the back of my head, man, him knowing he had to find somewhere. But again, I wasn't privy to the information that he gave me last week. See? And this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. That is conniving. That's wicked. That's someone who's lying. I mean, when you consider even the video that he put out where he said a time to heal, where he went on and he says, oh, I'm repenting to everybody, and if I've ever done you wrong and any of these things. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, that sounds real good. You know, and you got people, oh, this is so sincere and humble. Okay. But the book tells you about a thief. A lot of times we think about a thief as somebody that has stole something. We think about it something monetary, like some money or a possession. But we don't think about the time. We don't think about the peace in someone's home. We don't think about not only money. You don't think about effort. You don't think about reputation. You don't think about these things that you have stolen. And it's not just a blanket statement for you to go out and say, oh, just forgive me, I'm sorry. No, the book tells you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to repay. And not only repay, but you're supposed to repay double. You see? But there's no humility there. And it's really, truly a shame, because as I stated in that video, and I stated again, I'm going to state it again here now. Had that brother not been bit, as y'all heard him say, I have 100% total confidence him and his family would be here today. But he came up here full of venom. He came up here sick. And he said it in the video. I could never open up. I could never really truly open up with y'all brothers. I could never really truly be a part of y'all as much as he wanted to. He couldn't, because it was in the back of his mind was, why would Pastor Dowell and why would Brother Daniel do this to me and do this to my family? Y'all heard him express about his family. My sons always ask about his sons. He said the same thing to me on the phone. You see, so this is the type of thing that when he made a statement, you've done and you have hurt a lot of people. And why? What was it all for? It's just like I read in Sirach, man. It's because he saw himself as Pastor Dowell. He saw him, that the word says, he will see himself as thyself and he will lord over your service. He bullied so many people in Israel. And I'm telling y'all right now, this ain't going to be the first and the last one. Watch. You're going to start to see testimony after testimony after testimony of people coming out on what this man has done behind the scenes. And I'll end with this. The same thing Pastor Dowell said. We have been grossly represented. Grossly. Because people who know. And this was just foul. And it really, truly was disheartening to hear on the phone last week, because it was on my spirit. Let me give him a call. And I'm telling you, as soon as I called him, he picked up and we talked on the phone like we had been talking every day. And had this conversation that needed to be had, and here it is, stuff coming to the light.
You know, I think that it's extremely disheartening, because I have poured my life into this ministry from the day that I stepped foot out of the military and retired prematurely. Blood, sweat, and tears. All of y'all was there at the Hebrews the Negroes conference. When I remember when Brother Brandon, he was listening to me. His wife was over at another place. He got up in the middle of me speaking, went and got his wife, told his wife, you need to come over here and listen to this man. So many people have come to this ministry listening to this voice, which I might say the anointing all belongs to Yah, every single bit of it. Nobody has ever come to Straitway Truth Ministry by listening to Pastor Rufus. Well, Rufus. I guess it's just like in the day when you had Paul and Barnabas had contentions. You always see it throughout Israel. But man, I tell you, it's so disheartening to see that someone would sit there and abuse the saints because they will use their position, their power and authority that was granted unto them by myself and the elders of the ministry, and to sit there and watch to see the scriptures actually come to pass, that this man didn't do nothing but fleece the flock of Yah ever since. What's really disturbing is that here's another example of a man in his family just want to do right by the Most High Yah. And because the man had interest in, at one time, football, weightlifting, find his spirit more kindred towards the Israelites, Pastor Muir and them up in Indiana, as opposed to, and I see the reason why. He had no association with those down in Georgia. Because you look at the leader. I keep telling you over and over again. You listen, y'all. I don't listen. You can't make this stuff up, man. When he saw that the leader wasn't worth two damn dead flies and stuff, he's like, man, I got to go somewhere else. And then to sit up there and to use, find that scripture over in Sirach, Pastor Muir, and elaborate that. I don't know if it's, I think it's Sirach 27. Find it over there, and this is the issue. You got a man that I sit there and trusted, and I told y'all, all my leaders, all of y'all, Pastor Corey, Pastor Muir, Elder Mitchell, I can go all the way down like Elder Kabir, all of y'all. I trust all of y'all until proven otherwise. Until proven otherwise. Because, man, y'all have to understand, these are not our sheep. They belong to Yah. We're not to sit up there and to lord over Yah's heritage. I can give a nickel's worth of rat's ass with the so-called court of a public opinion who don't live nothing of this word, who ain't sacrificed nothing. Most people don't understand that you're looking at three men right here. Three men just on this screen right here. Whenever a lot of these communities are started, you know how they're started? They're started because we sold everything, and basically we used your vernacular. We invited you to come and live for the kingdom of Yah on land that we purchased. Pastor Rufus ain't purchased a damn thing. Ain't never purchased nothing. He can get out there and try to misrepresent and falsify all he wants. He ain't built nothing. He ain't purchased nothing. And what he didn't like was, and he asked Elder Mitchell, how did I get on Pastor Dowell's radar? I'll tell you how he got on my radar, by being a lying hypocrite. All I had to do was just call out everything that you wasn't doing and the stuff that you said to the brothers behind the scene. Well, Pastor Dowell want me to do that, but I ain't going to do it. How does that look for leadership? When I very rarely, and both of these pastors will tell you, I very rarely tell any of these pastors what to do on the land that Yah has given them to lead the flock of Israel. And anytime we have anybody that comes to the Most High Yah, come to Yahshua, they usually come, majority of them by the ministry, and we direct them to these pastors who's supposed to be trustworthy individuals. Because Yahshua died for you, and we are just stewards. That's it. Not lords, not masters. And when you sit up there and hear the testimonies of the people who actually live with him and how that they were bewitched, like in Galatians 6, just totally bewitched. And you know what? Mother Jennifer, Sister Sandra, I guarantee, and Sister Bonnie, I know Sister Bonnie, I guarantee they all know that Pastor Dowell ain't no liar. I guarantee you. But there's something, I'm beginning to tell you, there's something mental going on with this man up here. There's something off. There's something greatly off in this man right here. And of course, you know, everybody's a liar. Hundreds of people, everybody's a liar but him. That's the sad part about it. Everybody's a liar but him. And everybody story lines up. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. It's so sad. But I thank the Father for actually getting him out of here before he damaged more souls. I'm trying to figure out within myself. If I watched that video today, man, I was sitting at the kitchen table shaking my head like this. My Ishas come in and I'll just shake my head. And I got my young Isha that confirmed every single word that he said because she lived down there at that time. Confirmed every word. Every word. Say that man is not lying. The whole world can be liars. I'm not, listen, we fear Yah, not man. To lie to you, that ain't nothing. What would it benefit a prophet not only to lie to you, but to lie in general? That's not us. We don't have lying spirits. We're men and women of integrity. But man, I sat up and I said, Pastor, I said, how in the world can you get this family to trust us now? And mind you, it's not because we've done anything to them. It's because we've been coerced, lied, manipulated, all because of someone's jealousy, insecurity, because of the inadequacy of their own damn self. And you heard him. He didn't trust his leadership, so he wanted to come to Pastor Muir. And by the time he got up there, he had so much poison in him that he couldn't help but to be sick the whole time that he was there. It's literally sad. Man, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. It's all I can do. Brother Brandon, Sister Teresa, y'all children, Pastor Dowell himself is throwing out an olive branch, a branch of reconciliation, to reconcile, to do whatever we can, man, to get y'all back in the fold of y'all because it's exactly where you belong, because I can't say not one damn thing negative about neither one of you. And the spirits that y'all displayed. I understand being lied to and being let down, but I did not know. I didn't know. Pastor Muir did not know. And this is what I'm saying to all of you people out there. I don't give a damn if it's Pastor Corey. I don't give a damn if it's Pastor Muir. I don't give a damn who it is, including Pastor Dowell himself. I don't give a shit. If somebody turn around and you feel like you've been manipulated, coerced, used or abused, or not being told something right, speak up. Say something. We got a lot of righteous men in Israel that would judge and adjudicate these matters. They ain't gonna put up with no tyrannical rule. Say something, and to hell with this spirit of fear. Y'all is not giving us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and of a sound mind. Ain't nobody got that kind of damn influence but the devil. And we cast the devil out in the name of Yahshua. Man, y'all got this Israel. Y'all in yourself have got to know them that labor among you. You got to know them. And if you knew me, you knew. You should know by now. I don't care who it is. I don't care how close or how far. I'm never going to sit up there and take the word of one man over another. I don't give a damn what position you hold or what you look. The book is the book is the book. One witness shall not rise up against another, but out of the mouth of two or more, that's book, shall every word be established. Now I'm trying to figure out how do we get these people in the place that they need to be? Because this Diablo, this lying snake in the grass called Rufus, I can't even call him pastor no more. Called Rufus, man. He's done so much damage and so much discourse. Now he's talking about a time to heal. You know the reason why he's doing it, right? Because he know that all this is swinging around full circle. And these people are getting ready to come out to expose him. Now it's the time to heal. So he wants to get out there and do this blanket-ass repentance to where you don't get in front of your brother. You don't go to your brother and get it right in front of him. You do this blanket, soft little pen, and you watch all these fools, old fools, and slow and hard to believe all. You believe all this. The simple believe everything, man. You believe it, and y'all, look at here, out here, oh, hell yeah. and you still just as dumb as you was yesterday and deceived as you was to let this snake in the grass, this lying snake. I'll tell you one thing, I guarantee his wives know one thing. They know that Pastor Dowell is not no liar, and they know the truth. They know the truth. Mother Jennifer, Sister Sandra, Sister Bonnie, they know the truth. They know the truth. They know the truth. They know the type of man I am. They know the integrity in me. I don't care what they all say. They all know. And all of Georgia know. Every one of them know. Including everybody that's part of Straitway. You all know. Who cares about these people that are on the outside? They don't matter. I tell you one thing, Straitway still going full stream ahead, but Pastor Muir, what's in my heart right now, man? Shoot. How do you prepare a place and get a place prepared? And if you say prepared, man, can you imagine the type of spirits they would have to overcome if they was ever try to even make an attempt to try to move around more Israelites or move on a community with Israelites now after this experience? But you know it, it ain't us. You know it ain't us. I'm telling you, all three of us got teeth in the game. That's the problem right there, because Rufus, he'd have no damn teeth in the game because everything he ever got in his ministry, because I personally gave it to him. And that's a big lesson I've learned from that one right there, which I'm going to speak greatly. Imagine, it ain't going to stop me giving, because I'm not the type of person that want to make everybody else evil because one person does evil. Everybody will be judged based on their own merits and on what they only do themselves. But boy, you don't think I can see? I wish I could be able to see everything the way Satan does. But man, it seems like he's been doing this thing so long, and so many people are submitted to him at his will. Man, they come up with creative ways. I've only been in this earth 57 years. I've been in ministry 30-something years. And I'm like, man, just when you think that you got everything figured out, here come another curveball or a slider or a sinker. I mean, man, or a knuckleball. I'm like, good. I learned from every one of them, though. I learned from every one of them to teach the generations that are coming behind us. I learned from every single one of them. And I know one damn thing, I am not going to shut up my bowels and compassion. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to stop the work of y'all in this ministry because you got some people, disgruntled imps, that all of a sudden they have a revelation. Oh, you the man of y'all. Oh, we love this ministry and stuff. Then they get over here, and because they too self-centered, self-focused, self-absorbed, they don't want to change. All of a sudden, we ain't the people of y'all no more. It says, oh, you? We still going. We still here. We ain't gonna stop. Gonna keep on serving y'all and manifesting his true power. I'm trying to still figure out, man, how in the world do we recover people who have been bruised so bad, and now the devil that bruised them can't even really truly repent to them because he ain't even here. And you know what that devil gonna do? The devil is a liar, and he's gonna call you a liar because he is the father of lies. Can't tell the truth. It's sad. It's sickening. It's disheartening. It really truly is. But for those who do hear this, I guarantee you one thing, you'll notice Straitway are people are men of integrity. So listen to me very closely. The one thing that I heard Brandon talk about is that Rufus had zero work ethic, and he was a stage playing hypocrite, a respecter of persons, that the only time that he did do work was when I showed up. And I can tell you right now, before Pastor Corey get over this, I can tell you right now, you ask Pastor Muir, you ask Pastor Corey Michael Israel. I'm the oldest laborer out there on every job that we go to. And you ask them how I put it in and how I lay it down. Ask them if, just because I'm Pastor Dowell, if I'm just sitting there with my hands on my side, just pointing fingers and barking orders. Ask them for yourself, Pastor Corey.
I think you're on mute, Pastor Corey.
Man, look, Pastor Dowell, every time I'm on the work site with him, you can see he has damn near a whole wall done by itself. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
And it's a joy. You know, I watch Pastor Dowell because, you know, I know what he's doing. When I see what he's doing what he say he does. But he's doing what he needs to do to lead a people. Remember, it's a people that's being called to him. It's a people that's being drawn to him. And that's the whole thing that it just blows my mind that Pastor Rufus didn't get, being, you know, as presumptuous as he was. You should already know. You've been in this ministry long enough. You know, Pastor Dowell talked about the people like Pastor Muir and all these other people that was coming that you should be preparing for, because you're setting the example. So when they get here, they can be without excuse to do the will of Yah. And this is the same thing, Pastor. This is the same thing I echo here at these communities. This is what, you know, when I hear Pastor Muir speak, when I hear Elder Kabir, when I hear Elder Mitchell, and you just hear all the leaders, even when you hear Brother Rasan, people is taking on this same persona because they know it's true. When you can go to a work site and you see your pastor, I've never been to a church in America, nowhere, and I've ever seen a pastor out front doing what I see you doing, Pastor Dowell.
True. That's the flat out facts. Flat out facts.
Can you go ahead and quote that Sirach and then follow that up?
Oh, absolutely. This Sirach chapter 6. Listen to this. It says, for some, man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of trouble. And there's a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, discover thy reproach. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of affliction. But in thy prosperity, here it is, he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and he will hide himself from thy face. Separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends. Just listen to the book literally tell you flat out, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself. If you look at, for all these naysayers and these people that are out here, I saw one that said, man, this is what Pastor Dowell's doing. He's giving people $50 a month and $100 a month. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, time out. Are you speaking of 15 plus years ago or more? Because if that's the case, Pastor Dowell was living in a trailer with no running water, with a hole in the ground that he put a tub that he found on the side of the road in. So he was dealing with what he had. But nobody will attest and say that that's the case today. But the saints in Georgia can attest and say that that's been the case from when they started up until he was just removed out of leadership. And that is the facts. That is the flat out truth. I'll go on to say this as well. When Pastor Dowell was just here, I'll give you this example. He was just here. And before he got here, maybe a couple weeks prior, I was telling him about the things on the land that we doing. And he said, hey, when I get there, you know, we can go around. And he said, you know, I'll just maybe give you a suggestion to here, there. And I said, okay, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Well, when we got here and we did get the chance to go around, we drove all the way back up to the dining hall. And I'm like, all right, Shep, what you got? Like, because I want to hear it. Pastor Dowell said, he said, Pastor, I really don't have no suggestions. He said, y'all moving in the right direction. Y'all doing exactly what y'all supposed to be doing. I see the vision. I see exactly, y'all doing exactly what y'all supposed to be doing. So this whole rumor fest by a bunch of you effeminate cookie dough filled jokers out here on this internet that want to sit around and say things such as He's lording over communities. He's telling men what to do. He's stealing money. Y'all are liars. And the one that started all of this ruckus is the very one that all of the saints are testifying, saying that he was doing. You got witness after witness after witness after witness. You look at Sirach 26, it says, there be three things that my heart feareth. And for the fourth, I was so afraid. He said, the slander of a city and the gathering together of an unruly multitude. Now look at the third thing he says. And a false accusation. All these are worse than death. Now consider a false accusation. This man had a false accusation of Brother Brandon, and that man came bit. And look at what took place, man. Look at what took place. This is a shame upon so many levels, because the facts is, and anybody that's been around can say it, we go to work sites, Pastor Dowell is getting it in. The brothers down at Straitway are getting it in. Elder Mitchell and the brothers in Kentucky are getting it in. Pastor Corey comes to the work sites, he's getting it in. Pastor Corey be having mud all over his face, mixing mud all day. Michael Israel is getting it in. Teacher Shane is getting it in. I'm out there laying block, getting it in. When we go to these work sites. But what do you see guaranteed? I told y'all in the video, see, here's the thing. Just as Pastor Dowell said, everybody's a liar. Everybody's a liar. Everybody's lying, according to what Pastor Rufus say. But you know what? Notice something. He's never told you one thing that I lied about. All I want him to do is be specific. If I'm lying so much, tell me what I'm lying about. Tell me what Brother Brandon said today that he's lying about. Tell me what Brother Vernon reported about you that he's lying about. Tell me about what all the saints down there in Georgia said that they're lying about. Tell us the lies. You're so good at going on basketball shows and going all over the internet, going on with Tony Harvin and going on with all these people who you once was threatening that you'll beat them up and you'll do everything because you know you're good at that. You're good at telling everybody you beat them up. And what you do, and you won't say it to my face, sucker, and booger, and this and all this mess. You so good at all that mess. So how about this? How about you go and you tell us what we lied about? You see what I'm saying? What he has to remember is he started all this mess. Oh, well, why Pastor Dowell didn't see this? Okay, this is Exodus 18:21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Yah, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens. Okay, so now you see Straitway as a ministry. It was just over 1,000 people at Passover. Do you expect Pastor Dowell to know every intricate part of every single person? Or is he supposed to do what the word says and appoint pastors, elders, deacons, teachers? He's supposed to do this in every city. This is what the book say do. And he's supposed to be able to trust the ones that are there. But just as you see in Israel's history when you read the book, and just as you see now, you have men that come along full of adultery, full of covetousness, full of jealousy, full of gossip, full of slander, and it's at the stake. Robbers, troublers in Israel, and it's at the stake of the saints. You see? And how many people, you wouldn't believe the amount of messages that I got just today as soon as this interview got put out. People you wouldn't even expect. People you wouldn't even expect just coming out the woodwork, which I told you I was going to start happening anyway. Why? Because he was bold over the people of Yah. Bold over them.
You said it. Mm-hmm.
It's right there in our faces. So again, The truth is, Pastor Dowell goes to the work sites and works. Every man you see on the screen right now be at the work site working, getting it in. All the brothers sitting here, they come to work site, they get it in. But when Pastor Rufus is at it, you ain't see him strike one wall. You ain't see him tie one piece of rebar. You ain't see him lay one block. You ain't see him mix no mud. All he did was sit around, bark orders, and then say, I got to run errands. That's the truth. The house that he's talking about is my house, and I built. He laid one block on, and the block got taken up because we had to redo the corners. That's the truth.
Truth.
Go ahead, Michael Israel.
All right. A lot, definitely a lot coming out. And we definitely covered a lot. So really drilling in on some of the things that Pastor Muir said. You heard, um, I think Pastor Muir said that he's presumptuous, and the definition of that is of a person or their behavior failing to observe the limits of what is permitted or appropriate. And then something I see at the core of uh, I guess the correction and rebuke and stuff like that that went on with Pastor Rufus over a long period of time, but it seemed like something that was working deep down in the core was envy, and and the definition of that is a negative emotion that involves discontent, resentment over another person's possessions, attributes, qualities, or achievements. Um, and I got a video here because again, you hear with Pastor Muir saying and the other pastors are saying, and let me put this video up real quick because this is out of their own mouths where where they're confessing to this. Because after I saw this video, if you listen carefully, you could see, hey, okay, they're admitting where, or he's admitting where he's off at. So listen to this here real quick. It's not going to be long.
We couldn't come to an agreement. We did come up with. I agreed he was presumptuous. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
For what happened,
So I mean, that's right out of his mouth, and I just put that on there to show y'all. I mean, you heard him. He was like, mm-hmm, you know, on all that. But then when you take a 10,000-foot view from the whole thing, you see how the roots of that were, spreading out everywhere. So I just want to put that out there. So I wanted to move forward a little bit. And I know y'all covered this a little bit. Well, Pastor actually covered this a little bit, and this was one of the talking points I had. So I'm gonna just read it because I think it's still pertinent. I wrote, as we heard Brandon say in the video, situations like this can be painful for all parties. What needs to be our mindset to heal and to grow from situations like this? And this is a question I had for you, Pastor. And after being a head of assembly, being here in Straitway on the lowest level, and dealing with, I can relate to the frustration of dealing with people who, with certain types of behaviors, and it having to come to just a painful, difficult ending or whatever you might call it. And my question to you, Pastor Dowell, is over the years, how has that affected you? And what do we need to do to not? I know for me, I I it's like a war to not be bitter and really get turned up. Because I get mad in the moment, but what has been your? Because I know you've dealt with situations like this for years. So what wisdom can you give us on dealing with situations like this?
All right, so you know I got to come from the scriptures, right? Got to come
Right.
from the word.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you something. The one thing about Satan is he's always seeking to wear out the patience of the saints, because there's nothing from without that can destroy us, only that which is within. And Satan understands, and the people are learning who are spiritual, that listen, a house divided, it cannot stand. So what is Satan trying to do more than anything? He's working overtime to make sure that we are divided. Because when we're together, one can put 1,000 to flight. Two can put 10,000 to flight. Man, there's not, listen, Yah even told the people, he told the angels, he said, listen, at the Tower of Babel, he says, man, they said they're going to build this thing up to Shemaim, up to heaven. If we don't disturb this, they're going to do it. It's in their heart to do it. Once we have our mind made up that we are together in unity, one heart, one mind, one soul, one spirit. Whose heart, whose mind, whose soul, whose spirit is that? Yahshua, the King. His. We have the instructions laid out in front of us. Satan is not using anything new. The problem is we're just discovering the depths of his wickedness and those who are submitted to him at his will. Why are we surprised that it's happening from within when he told us it was going to be that? It wasn't going to be without. It's going to always come from within. And we sit mesmerized like, hey, listen, 1 John 2:19 says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at 2:18. 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. It says, little children, it is the last time. And as you have heard that anti-Messiah shall come. Even now, see, there are many anti-messiahs or antichrists. Everybody looking for this big one, the big grand poobahs coming up on the scene. What about all these little bitty ones who are the forerunners to the big one? What about we know it's the last time? Then he said this. I just got finished having a family who come over from Sweden, who we bent over backwards years ago to help them, to do everything in our power. Only the next thing you know, you all seen it, you all part of communities. You see everybody, they come happy, they joyful, they gleeful and everything else. And then only after a little while, next thing you know, you see the spirit creeping in on them. And then the next thing you know, they're distanced. Their heart begins to harden. And you're like, what's up, brother? What's going on? You still in the same place you've always been. And you sit and watch this callousness take place. And next thing you know, look, you can't do enough. You can't say enough. You can't help enough. You can't do nothing. Man, I'll tell you one thing I've done. I have stopped making concessions for those who are submitted to Satan at his will. See, our problem is our heart is wicked as hell. And we got to make sure that our heart is not cold, hard, and callous against Yah. Because Yah has already warned us about the wicked ones being in front of us. He has told us clearly, but yet we're so apprehensive, we're so slow to actually call it for what it is. And we'll sit up there and try to feed the devil and starve the righteous. It's just something wrong. There's something wrong. There's a propensity in us. There's something wrong that's got to be died out. Deliverance, prayer, fasting. Hey, I'm telling you, man, we're in a war of our life. He turns around and says they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have no doubt continued with us, but they went out that they might be made manifested that they were not all of us. Period. Point blank. How is it that everybody gets the understanding when you go over here and you read Acts chapter 2, we comprehend the time and the seasons. The world ain't supposed to know the times and the seasons, but you To you has been given the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. You know it is. You know what it is. You know how to apply the principles of Yah. And then all of a sudden we get over here to Acts chapter 2, and it says, and all that believe were together in Acts 2:44, and had all things common. And they sold their possessions and good and parted them to all men as every man had need. And then all of a sudden, you get a spirit on you, get disgruntled, all of a sudden we throw out all that. It don't mean nothing no more. Or I don't feel like community is for me. No, the kingdom is not for you. That's what it is. Hey, forget about the community. We all have made a conscious decision a long, long time ago. And so Satan has not stopped in the order of the way he do things. There's nothing new under the sun. All you got to know, just remember that there's nothing new under the sun. He has the same operating procedures, same SOP, standard operating procedures. He ain't going to do nothing new. He's an emulator. He's not a creator. He's an emulator. All we need to know is what the creator said, and we're good to go. All of a sudden, oh, we ain't got to do this no more. It's multiple choice. No. When the Holy Spirit was dealing with us, when we were in a right spirit, a correct spirit, we were convicted. And we moved with fear under the unction and the anointing of Yah. We come out hard pressed, being derided, chided, ridiculed, mocked, scorned by our own families, hated of our own families to do Yah's will. Now all of a sudden, the other side is right and we're wrong. No. Look at the devil, and the devil is a lie. Any man that put his hand to the plow and you look back, you're not even fit for the kingdom of Yah. Yah's words is not going to fall void. We're going to find out many people, they got weary in well-doing. Weary. They gave it up. They showed it, did not have the strength and the fortitude to continue. And they end up turning over to the father of lies. Pastors?
Man, look here. Look here, Pastor Dowell. Oh, man. Listen, the axe is laid to the root. I mean, you calling it what it is. And I'm going to just go on and say it. You know, when I look at, Brother Mike, to stay on target, when we look at how people come to community, one of the things I've learned is that you got to truly discern that everybody ain't with you. Because, see, it's like you pour yourself out, you pour into these people, you continue to give and give because you know what the mission is. You've laid your life down, but everybody else have not laid their life down. And that's what you got to discern. You got to discern that everybody have not laid their life down. And, here's one of the things that, I've been really looking at, because especially, looking at this narcissistic spirit and looking at that is the medical terminology. All right. Narcissism. But from the spiritual standpoint, this is Jezebel. All right. And I remember I was reading this. I read some of it to Elder Kabir. I read some of it to Pastor Muir, because, I said, you got to get to the point. You're trying to discern what is the depth behind what some of the people that dwell with us, what do you want? Because this is so easy. It ain't that hard. See, you just said it, Pastor, when it ain't that which is without that destroys us. I just said this to the saints today. That it's that is within. So I said, I know that is intel for me. So I work diligently to be offended by nothing, because we are the one. Y'all chose you just like he chose me. He chose you like he chose me. So that means we have to really use the intel of being brothers who are set apart, chosen by Yah himself from among many. We have to guard that. We got to guard it. But people don't have that same zeal. They have not laid their life down like you laid. See, you laying your life down, you'll do anything for your brothers. You are open to forgive. You want peace, but they're for war. See, them type of things you got to start looking at. When people can't get this, you got to really start looking. And it just, dealing with this thing with Pastor Rufus, I'm gonna read some of these characteristics of Jezebel. And I asked, Pastor Muir, and even I asked Kabir, I said, now you tell me, when I read these characteristics to you, I'm not gonna read all of them because it's about 30 of them, but I'm gonna read some of them, and you tell me that this ain't what we be seeing in a lot of saints that be disgruntled and the way they function. Because you have to ask yourself, you're like, well, how come you didn't see Pastor Rufus acting? No, you see him, but you got to follow the word. See, one witness shall not rise up against another. And then when you test to try to see if people are going to allow you in to be able to bring things to them, people don't let you in. Then you got to start asking yourself, but what type of individual is this? Watch this. This is the first characteristic. Jezebel refuses to admit guilt and wrongdoing. Well, I've seen that. They take credit for everything. I've seen that. Uses people to accomplish a personal agenda. Withhold information. Talks in confusion. Volunteers everything. And look why I say they volunteer for everything. Jezebel volunteers in order to establish control. They seem to have endless nervous energy and eagerly looks for opportunity to take charge of projects. Look at that. Lies convincingly. Never gives credit or shows gratitude. Criticize everyone. Practices one-upmanship. Uses information. Talks incessantly. Meaning these people are habitually talkers. All right. Uses the element of surprise. Is pushy and domineering. Commands attention. Is vengeful. Attempts to make others look like Jezebel. Look at this. Insinuates disapproval. And see, this is that's what was happening for the leadership meeting. So then when you start looking at all these meetings that was happening, you was insinuating a disapproval. And if you know the word and the word is inside you, you can't go with just disapproving Pastor Dowell after the word says know them by their fruits. So if I've seen all this fruit out of this man, you're not just gonna easily sway me. Look at this. Knows it all. Acts religious. Hides from true repentance. Cannot receive correction. Demands forgiveness but does not forgive. Masterful at projection. I'm gonna leave it right there. Reading that, and when you start to look and you start slicing these people down, and you start to understand, this is why we have to become more spiritual at discerning who's around. See, when you start having trouble with people, because see, guess what? You know who's on the same page, because the word already told you, by 2 or 3 witnesses shall a thing be established. So when you see people operating in the witness of what we should be walking in the word, and more than one person is walking in that way, and we're doing the same thing, we're of the same mind, our speech is the same, we are on the same level of forgiveness, we are on the same level of trying to make this work. And then when you find other people that operate in an alternative spirit from this, that should tell you that they need to be watched closely. Automatic, because they don't follow behind that same manner of spirit of being watchful, and at the same time having enough humility to really want to walk in the correction and not causing stumbling before their brothers and sisters. And people don't truly have that. See, we got to quit trying to just give people credit for being there because they are a brother, they are a sister. They don't have it. So I just want to leave that, Mike. Your eyes got to be open to that. See, what I'm doing with me personally, I say I got to become more equipped, because Pastor just said we are at war. So when we at this type of war, you can't war the same way that you have, and you can't open the door the same way you open, because people are coming. The demons are stronger. The liars are lying even more. And I'm telling you, this thing is for the few and for the remnant. Everybody ain't the remnant. Everybody ain't the remnant. Bless y'all.
Come on, Mike Israel.
All right. Definitely a good word on that. And something to drill in on something uh, that Pastor Corey he alluded to, and it was a talking point I had on here, was concerning leaders. As a leader, um, how careful and what type of consideration does a leader need to take on how he moves? Um, and when I'm saying that, uh, a leader who actually has a concern for the people that are following him, he has to move with even more care and can't get in his feelings and his emotions like that, because like we're seeing a perfect example now. You're a leader. I think the word Pastor Muir used was famed in Israel, and you know getting in your feelings has ramifications that affect a lot of people. Um, can y'all speak on that? What type of spirit that is? Is that selfishness? What is that? Where or neglect, or what is it? And also speak to how leaders need to always be aware that, hey, everybody's watching. People are affected by the moves you make.
You know, I want everybody to listen to me real good. The first thing that every single leader needs to realize and know, and there's a bunch of first things in his list, but number one is, listen, if you are a leader of an assembly, an elder, a preacher, or teacher, whatever it is, number one, right off the bat, you don't ever be caught alone with a woman that ain't your wife, ain't your Isha. You don't never do any counseling with any woman whatsoever at all that is not in your family. I don't counsel sisters unless I have one of my Ishas there. I don't go even talk to sisters unless, if you see me talk to a sister, it's because I'm in a prayer line and I'm out in front of the whole congregation. Because it only takes just one woman and one sinner to make a whole city to fall. That's all it takes. The people are going to falsify, they're going to misrepresent, they're going to do all this. So as leaders, we have to walk circumspectly. We can't be as fools. You can't sit up here and assume the way you used to walk in this world that you can walk the same way over here, because you always got the accuser of the brother and has always got their finger pointed looking at you. You are a target. And you have to realize you are a target. So I'm extremely careful how I walk, how I move. I don't care what they say out there, because they're not here. They don't get it. But man, you have to be, what does the book say? Be careful of women. Does it not warn us about that? If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. I cannot tell you how many scriptures that we have that warns a man of a woman. Now I want you to, come on, all y'all with all y'all elaborate knowledge that you got. Show me all these scriptures that warns a woman of a man. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. But because she's the weaker vessel, she uses wiles in order to try to get people. That's the first order of business. And you know what's crazy to me? The first thing that this sexually promiscuous society, the first thing they want to do is charge anybody about I'm not sitting there looking, man. It's sexual immorality and stuff, and this is the most debaucherous generation that has ever been in the history of mankind. It surprises me. It is crazy. It is utterly crazy. Instead of worried about the wickedness, my advice is focus on the holiness. Focus on the set apartness. To hell with these people. Y'all has brought us out of that darkness into his marvelous light. Let's exalt that. Let's continue to keep doing what we know that Yah has put us to in order to build his kingdom. The evil is going to be here. It's going to be here. That's the reason why we need to continue to keep raising up righteous seed. Satan don't want that. Expect to be attacked. You're going to be attacked for being righteous. You're going to be lied upon. They're going to falsify information, false witnesses, the whole 9 yards. And they may seem like they're credible, but they're false when they stand under scrutiny. Be a man of integrity, a man of honor, just like our Messiah, just like our King, Yahweh himself. Don't let the noise get to you. Stay the course of righteousness. Pastor Muir.
Woo. Hey, I got 3 things here, okay, for your question too, just to piggyback, okay? Number 1, we say it all the time, but it's the truth. The book tells us great peace have all they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Now, here's the thing. This is why the book tells us to have his law on the forefront of our mind day and night. We're supposed to be speaking about this day and night. Why? Because it's right. Secondly, so you don't get offended. And it's very easy. It's very, very easy if you take your mind. This is why what Pastor Dowell just said was so key. He said, instead of focusing on wickedness, focus on holiness. Because you take your mind off of the righteousness of Yah, what's going to happen to you? You're going to become offended. We used to say it around here all the time. When you see a brother offended, anybody who's been around here, or even if you see an inkling of it come before, we start singing the song around here, and anybody that knows it knows. We start singing the song called Sensitivity. But at the same token, we always used to make a statement, which we need to start saying again, which we used to say, the brother's offended, we'd be like, hey, what law you don't love? Why are you offended? What you not loving about Yah? Because we cannot be found in that state. That's 1. 2, look at what the word says. This is Proverbs 11:14. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Now think about that. And that ties into my number 3. We speak about it all the time. The brothers and sisters that are around you. It is so key. You can't talk about it enough. Why? The book says without a vision, the people perish. You see? But look what this says. Where no counsel is, the people fall. So again, do you have people around you that can tell you that you're wrong? Do you have people around you that can tell you, hey, I'm seeing this? Do you have people around you that can talk to you no matter what your title is, position is, no matter what? Do you have people around you that can come to you and speak to you, and that you can actually take a step back and actually hear? Are you approachable? That thing is that is so key, because the book doesn't say, oh, I'm a leader, so go sharpen everybody else. What the book said is iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. Well, guess what? I'm a man. Regardless if I have the title of pastor, regardless if you see the people that have the title of elder or a teacher or a deacon or whatever, or just brother, because we all brothers. We differ nothing from servants. So at the end of the day, it says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another. So do you have them around you that can sharpen you? Is it a healthy space? I got, anybody who's been here knows I have awesome brothers around me. No doubt about it. Now, guess what? You think that ain't a constant sharpening? Because guess what every single brother sees around here? They all see something in another brother that another brother does at a greater capacity than them, and they all aspire to do it on the capacity of that brother. Is that not a sharpening? Is that not something that says, man, this brother, man, he's really good and he's really disciplined and he's really good in this? Man, and what do? You aspire to do that too. And what does that do? That opens up the line of communication. That's open up you being honest with your brother. You can talk to your brother, which leads to what? If you bound in an area, there goes your deliverance. You can sit down in the chair and actually be open and honest with one another. You don't have to go from state to state and say that I can't get deliverance here. But I got to go all the way here. I got to drive 5 hours down the road to get delivered. No, that's foolishness. Because what about the ones that's sitting around you? Oh, well, they're not ready for this level of deliverance. That's foolishness. Why haven't you prepared them for that? What's magnificent about deliverance? You know what's magnificent about it? Is that any one of us can call on the name of Jesus Messiah and speak his word, and it torments devils. And you can cast these devils out in the name of Jesus. It doesn't matter if you're a child. It doesn't matter if you're a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a brother. It doesn't matter if you got a title, position, nothing. You can all come together collectively because someone has done the work prior to sitting in the chair, be open and honest with one another, and guess what? And get set free. So these are things that you can do to prevent this stuff. This creates environments that are healthy. This creates environments to where brothers can feel comfortable being around one another. To where sisters can feel comfortable being around one another. To where jealousy doesn't prevail all over the place. To where, and y'all know I'm big on this one, to where saints can actually smile. To where saints can actually show their pearly whites and smile and be happy to be around one another. I told y'all Deacon Samuel brought this to me a couple weeks back. And he said, do you remember when we went down to Georgia? This is when we went to pick Sister Melinda up years ago. He said, do you remember what you said to me? I said, no, what are you talking about? He said, when we went down there, I didn't see nobody smiling. Now think about that. And think about that in light of everything that has transpired these last couple months. Because what the word say? That when the wicked bear rule, what do people do? They mourn. But when the righteous bear rule, what do? They rejoice. So again, if you are a husband, if you're a man, you're a leader, what does your house, what does your homestead, what does your community, what does it look like? Are the people rejoicing? Are they happy to see one another? Is it a joy to see your brothers and sisters every day? Is there an atmosphere of thanksgiving? Are you as a leader always reminding the people to give thanks and to look what Yah has done? Because right then and there, the minute you begin to think about what Yah has done, automatically it sends you into a place of praise. Automatically it sends you into a place of worship. You begin to think about what Yah has taken you from and to see where you are at right now. You can't do nothing but praise. Now tell me what type of environment that is. Tell me if that is not an environment full of love. Tell me if that's not an environment full of thanksgiving and where Yah can move, his spirit can move freely around there without no hindrance. You tell me. So to answer your question, Brother Mike Israel, is these are things that we can see and these are things that we need to be watching for to make sure we constantly see. To make sure that we constantly see in these communities, in these homesteads, because these are the atmospheres. This is what it should be. This is what it needs to be. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You know, man, that's some strong word there from Pastor Dowell, Pastor Muir, and as I was just sitting here, this is really just free flowing because I know, for myself, and as I have seen the examples in front of me, to be a leader, number one, and to be able to go out in front of people, number one, you have to keep in the forefront of your mind that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of Yah. When you reverence Yah above all things, then these ain't your people, this is Yah's people. So why would you want to crap and spit and trash Yah's people when he only set them before you for you to help shepherd them in the ways of life? That's what you there for. So when you see that, the second thing about it is, really understanding that we're being called from living this life from a fleshly standpoint, because the flesh does nothing but reap corruption. So it is our duty as leaders to make sure that everybody pass from death to life by doing what? Living according to the Spirit. Because if you live according to the Spirit, it is life. And so when I look at that, and I try to make that as plain and as simple as we can, because there are certain things you should be doing. And this is one of the reasons why I came to this ministry. When I came here, this ministry wasn't just about a bunch of knowledge. Well, guess what? That's in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. The kingdom of heaven is not in word, but in power. So I seen that. So this is the same thing I emphasize to the people. See, we have to see the move of Yah. You have to have a manifestation of Yah, because we want to be wherever the Spirit of Yah is. We want to be drawn to that. That is the sign and the symbol that Yah is with us. And so on that same note, this is one of the things I want to point out, because see, people have to really know what we dealing with and who we dealing with. See, and so when I see laymen or I see brothers and sisters that don't really understand where they at and what they're doing, you don't even take your leaders as the gifts that they are. Because see, the reciprocal of that is we should take you all as the children of Yisrael, the ones that are called out, the set apart ones. But in order for this to work, this whole entire thing, everybody has to understand what their position is and understand what the Most High Yah is doing. And, this is one of the things I was pointing out that we really have to obtain. You got to be able to obtain wisdom. You got to be able to obtain the right knowledge so that we deal righteously and justly with one another. I'm going to read something real quick. This is something that Jesus was pointing out to the disciples around the Feast of Tabernacles. All right, this is in John chapter 7. All right. Now, one of the things you got to know that the people are going to despise those that do righteousness. They're going to despise your leaders. This is what Yahshua was pointing out to the disciples. I'm going to start right here in verse 12, all right, of John chapter 7. And I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version. It says, "And there was considerable complaining about him among the crowds, while some were saying he is a good man, others were saying, no, he is deceiving the crowd." Now let's stop right there. See, people will say all manners of things about you, all manners of falsehoods. That's what it say in Matthew chapter 5, verse 11. People will say that because why? You are doing the ways of righteousness. And if you go up before that, Jesus was telling the disciples he wasn't going to go to the feast with them because, see, they hated him. They can go, but they hated him because he came to reprove the world. And so our job is making sure that we set such an example that it reproves wickedness. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what being a leader is about. Being blameless is about walking in such a way. When you walk, you reprove the lives of the wicked. All right. And so in that, then this is the type of thing. This is why I try to warn the saints. this is what's going to happen. Where others give a right testimony of you, others going to give a false testimony and say that you're deceiving the crowd, you're wicked, you're this. But there should be a distinguishing factor. Let's go over here and look at that distinguishing factor right here in verse 17. Now, it says, anyone who resolves to do the will of Yah. So that means that as soon as you set your heart to serve Yah, just like I said, Sirach, prepare your soul for temptation. All right. That's going to be tested whether or not you truly want to serve Yah. This is the type of situation we just looked at with Pastor Rufus. So a lot of people was confused. A lot of people didn't understand. But you heard those who know the word, those who have already had resolve in their life to know the will of Yah, to desire the will of Yah. You knew what you heard. You knew what you saw. Look what this says. Anyone who has resolved to do the will of Yah will know. You will know, not might know. You will know whether the teaching is from Yah or whether I am speaking on my own. Those who speak on their own seek their own glory. But the one who seeks the glory of him who sent him is true, and there is nothing false in him. See, you should know because you know the word of Yah. When you are hearing the word of Yah, and that's our desire and our example should be living the word of Yah out before the saints as leaders. We should be walking this out. They should see a unison from Pastor Dowell on around to every community. They should see we're walking that same tune because because I knew the word, I was able to look out and I was able to point out Pastor Dowell. I sat there that night listening to him and I knew I saw. I didn't need to go ask nobody. My next step was calling in to the man of Yah because I have found one. So even to this day, because I have resolved to watch this, to follow Yah, to serve Yah. I have resolved to do the will of Yah. Not I have resolved to just find men to be in relationship with. I have resolved to do the will of Yah. So automatically I'm going to know. Some of you all don't know who you're following because you don't have the word in you. And that's one of the things that has to happen in these communities. Man, we have to keep the word of life before those who are around us. That's the only thing that's going to sustain community. That's the only thing that's going to sustain the people in community. That's the only thing that's going to sustain the righteousness that should be in communities. I'm done.
Wow. Messiah's so awesome, bro.
All right. Definitely some good wisdom coming out this evening. As we wind the show down, something that came up earlier that I just want to bring to the elect panel to discuss is just talking about the importance of speaking up and communication in situations like this. Because like in this situation, we see where for whatever reason, and that might be one of the things we could go into, but for whatever reason, people didn't, this information didn't all make it out. So, if you can, like, Pam, can we talk about, the importance of speaking up, speaking out, walking in the spirit of boldness, not in the spirit of fear, so that situations can be handled at the lowest level. I know when we had I guess you could call it the hearing thing up there about this situation with Pastor Rufus, we were up there at Straitway, when a lot of the brothers in Straitway, Georgia, got rebuked for not speaking up about certain things. So if you can y'all drop some wisdom to the brothers and sisters out there on the importance of communication and also on questioning things, I guess.
Hey,
Hallelujah.
straight to Pastor Muir.
Hallelujah. Hey, so look, this is why discernment is so key. Okay, and fruit is so key. All right, because here's the thing. Ain't it amazing that a lot of times you see the ones that do speak up are ones that are just sitting there murmuring? Okay? There's a difference between truly seeing an issue and a problem that is taking place where it is truly affecting the community, affecting the homestead, opposed to somebody just having gripes and complaints. Okay? And this is why it is so key to speak up, because saints ain't stupid. Saints see what's going on. I mean, you can't tell me you can't see when saints are struggling or are in need of necessary things that they should have when you're living on a community. But when you see that the leader has over and above what he needs, but the people that are there don't, there's something that automatically you should know, okay, this ain't a one-off. This ain't something that just happened. This is consistent. This is something that you should never see in these communities. We ain't walking around with brand new this, brand new that, drive brand new this, brand new that, and nobody else has anything that they can do or has anything that they have at their access. I know here in this community, saints in and out of the house all day, every day. I'm in and out of their houses all day, every day. You saw the testimony of the saints when they all came up. They said, he's doing this diet. Everybody's eating, but we eat Mexi dip and ramen. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, I'm thinking like, what? A steak? The saints here know, if I got a steak, man, go on in this building and get what you need. It's literally that simple. Because God, guess what? Because as the book says, we have all things common. It's literally that simple. So again, these are times where you know you need to speak up. If your leader never wants you to go and visit other communities and other homesteads, and he traps it, nope, can't go. Ain't that something? That should make you question something like, wait a minute. Because the brothers how many places y'all done been to? Brothers here they done been to communities. Go to other places to learn what they doing building wise, go. But now all of a sudden, your leader say, nah, you can't go nowhere. What is this? You can't go be around other saints? Why? Is it because you know that they're going to see something take place at another community consistently that they've always wondered about, and all of a sudden they're going to come back and wonder, why in the world is this not taking place here when we're more than capable of doing it? And this is across the board. We should all be speaking the same thing. We should all be living the same thing. So when saints come from place to place to place to place, they can all see the same thing. It is extremely important to me. Why? Because the book says that we are to be what? Lovers of hospitality. It is extremely important to me that when a saint comes here, they know that this is my home. They don't see no partiality. They don't see no, oh, you live here, so you get this, you get that, or you better than. No, no. We Israel. These things are extremely important. So again, there's a difference when you know you can see something that is, how you say the word? Systematically wrong. That is taking place amongst the whole community, and it's all the time. That's time to speak up. That's time to be like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Go to your leader. Hey, I got a question. I've seen this, and it's been this way for a while. Can you elaborate on that? Can you talk to me? And us as leaders, we should be able to sit down, listen to what they say, not get offended, and be able to answer. But if you somebody that just coming, well, I don't like the way you was looking at me, or I need more money, or I need more of this. And it's like, wait a minute, at this time, the community can't do that because everybody's getting X, Y, and Z, or everybody's doing this and everybody's working here. Because usually when you see that type of person, those are the people that always got some type of complaint. Those are all the people that always show up late to everything. Those are all the people that are all destructive on the land and tear up everything that you got on the land. Those are the same ones that usually operate in that same mode. It's not hard to see. But we got to be willing to protect this peace, man. We got to be willing to protect this brotherhood, this sisterhood, this family. We have to be willing to protect it. And the only way you can protect it is, again, being open and honest with one another. Having brothers around you. Again, you got to have people around you that can tell you what they see, because it's for the betterment of everything. We're supposed to be a tribe, a team, a family. This thing is not hard, y'all. It's not hard. So all you got to do is discern between the two. Discern between the two. If you see something that is a widespread amongst the saints, that you know is wrong, you should be able to go to your leader and speak about it. And your leader shouldn't have everybody stuck in so much fear, and fear that they're going to get kicked out of ministry, fear that they're going to be slandered about all across the ministry, fear that they're going to be spoken trifling about all over the place, that they can't come to you and speak. That's foolishness, and that's wickedness.
All right. It's definitely an great answer to all these questions. A lot of wisdom. And as we near the end of the show, pastors, did y'all have anything else that y'all wanted to bring out?
Pastor, you want to go first? Pastor Corey?
Yeah, Shep, I can just say this small bit right here. In Ephesians 5, it says, Ephesians 5, verse 6 and 7, it says, let no man deceive you with empty words, for because of these things, the wrath of Yah comes on the sons of disobedience. Therefore, don't be partakers with them. And so when you're talking about really taking advantage of knowing how to come and when to come, it's all about really paying attention to people's manner of life and their manner of speech and what they're doing, so you don't be a partaker in that. And that's a big thing. Watch this. Proverbs 10. The mouth of the righteous is a spring of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all wrongs. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has discernment. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has discernment. But a rod is for the back of him who is void of understanding. Last verse. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near ruin. See, you got to be able to pay attention to really what is being said to you. One of the things Pastor kept reiterating, good words and fair speeches. Good words and fair speeches. See, for me, all you got to do is pay attention to what's being said to you by the leaders and by those that's around you. And this is one thing I try to make sure to, especially now to the point, I'm trying to make sure I give you ample opportunity to make sure you don't misconstrue my words and what I say, because there ain't no good thing being withheld from you. All you have to do is pay attention to how the flow of the community is going. Pastor Dowell and the hub, Straitway, Tennessee, is a lot further along than a lot of communities just starting up. So things are not going to be exactly the same in all places. But what happens is you start seeing people get disgruntled, and you start, if you're going to question, know what you're questioning about. Because I believe in foolish and unlearned questions avoid. And I believe in that. but I don't ignore you, and I give everybody opportunity to come and sit down and talk. But you got to know, when are you wearing out the doorstep? When are you wearing out the patience? When are you going above and beyond when you have the door? Everybody else needs an opportunity to come in. The door ain't just open strictly for you. And so it's things like this that we have to take heed to wisdom. This thing, it ain't that it can work. It works. It's already been working. It's been working for 25, 30 plus years. All right. So it works, but are you willing to work in what works? That's all I got to say.
Hallelujah. I'm going to make mine very, very quick. And I put here, don't get bit and don't let your heart for someone make you despise the judgment of Yah. Straight up. Proverbs 28, verse 4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Pastor posted this in his Patreon the other day. But look at the next verse. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek Yah understand all things. So now you got to ask yourself the question. When all of this started coming out, understand something. Where was your heart at that very moment? Because this was plain to me. When you see the discord amongst the brethren, the jealousy, the envy, the gossip, the slander, the backbiting, the falsifying information, the taking advantage of the saints, when you see all of this, there was no doubt in my mind. I understood it like that. But look what the beginning of the verse said. Evil men understand not judgment. So you can see all of this take place amongst the saints, and your heart is questioning what leadership is doing when they have clearly presented and shown you with rooms of witnesses, eyewitnesses. But your heart is still there because there's a soul tie there. You got to ask yourself, is that evil or not? It's literally that simple. It's right in our face, y'all. Bless y'all.
Well, the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 11. We're going to read on. I want everybody to hear this, all right? Because that Pastor Rufus and I is both for serving the same Yah, we're going to let Yah answer because he's going to judge between him and I. And mind you, this is the man that never even started a ministry. He came to be a part of the ministry. And he deceived his way through the top, to the top, and got found out. So we're going to see. We're going to find out who is of Yah and who's not in a very short period of time. Jeremiah 28:11. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, even so will I break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, from the neck of all nations within the space of 2 full years. And the prophet Jeremiah went his way. And the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah the prophet, after Hananiah the prophet had broke the yoke from off his neck. And the prophet Jeremiah saying, Go tell Hananiah, Thus saith Yahweh, you have broken the yoke of wood, but you shall not make for them yokes of iron. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, Elohim of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon your neck and all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, that they may serve him. And I've given him the beast of the field also. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, Hear now, Hananiah, Yahweh have not spoken unto you, but you make of this people to trust in a lie, and you know you have. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth this year, and thou shalt die, because thou hast taught rebellion against Yahweh. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. Let me tell y'all something. There's no way you're going to sit there and let these damn lies be permitted. Not in Israel at all. And just like with Judas and Jesus, Barnabas and Paul, Paul against Peter, the opportunities who love to have their preeminence. Y'all going to see the demise of Rufus. I promise y'all going to see it. Because the lie is not going to flourish in y'all's eyes. What you got, Israel? I'm done.
All right. So definitely an awesome show today. A lot of truth came out. Definitely you would have to go in and rewatch the show. Also, go over to the Straitway Goshen, and it's also on Pastor Dowell's YouTube channel. You could watch that full interview of with Brother Brandon and Pastor Muir. Definitely check that out. Make sure y'all hit the like button on here. Help this thing go out far. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And with that said, we appreciate all y'all tuning in. You're watching Ask the Elect on Hold Fast Wednesday. And I'm Michael Israel, and shalom, shalom.
Joy down in my soul, you made me whole. You give me joy, 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 joy. You give me joy, joy down in my soul, you made me whole. Endure, brethren, I'll say endure to the end. I'll say endure, brethren, I'll say endure, brethren, I'll say endure, brethren, I'll say endure to the end. I'm saying, endure, brethren. I'm saying, endure, brethren. Let your joy